welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
Ever feel like you're just spinning your wheels trying to learn something new, a skill, maybe a complex topic?
Yeah, happens to everyone.
Well, today we're diving into something that could really change that. How to learn anything fast. No BS. We've pulled the core ideas from Rapid Learning, a master's guide. And our mission really is to find those genuinely actionable strategies for you so you can quickly grasp stuff without wading through, all the fluff.
Exactly. And look, in today's world with information just everywhere, learning efficiently, it's not just nice, it's essential.
Totally.
So this deep dive gives you that path, a clear, practical way to get faster and better at learning based on what actually works.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The guide, Rapid Learning, it kicks things off with what it calls the SMART start.
Right.
Before you even crack a book or watch a video, it says nail down two things. First, clear specific goals.
Crucial.
And second, leverage the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle. It sounds, almost too simple. How does that actually help?
Well, it's foundational, isn't it? That simplicity is the power. Breaking a big goal down into mini goals, it stops you feeling overwhelmed right at the start.
Okay, makes sense.
You know where you're actually going. And the 80-20 rule, that just demolishes the idea that more time always equals more learning.
Right.
It forces you to ask, what's the vital 20% here? The core stuff that gives me 80% of the results I want.
So, for learning a language,
Yeah.
maybe the most common verbs and sentence structures.
Exactly. Instead of memorizing endless vocabulary lists from day one, it's about being strategic, learning smarter, basically.
That's a really, big mental shift.
Yeah.
Okay, so you set your target, you know the key 20%. What's next? How do you actually make the information stick?
Now we get to the core of it.
The guide hammers this point. Active learning beats passive learning. Every single time.
No contest.
It talks about taking notes, summarizing, sure, but also things like practice retrieval,
Yeah.
basically testing yourself constantly.
Pulling info out of your brain, not just putting it in.
And my favorite, maybe, teaching it back, even just pretending to teach it.
Yeah.
But maybe the boldest thing it says is learning by doing. Projects over theory. Even for really abstract stuff. Does that always work?
It's a great question, right? Challenges how we often learn in school. But the guide argues, yes, absolutely, even for abstract ideas.
How so?
Because these active methods, especially teaching, force you past just recognizing something. You have to actually understand it, simplify it, structure it.
You can't teach it, you haven't learned it. That quote comes to mind.
Precisely. It busts the myth that just reading or watching is enough. You have to engage, reconstruct, apply it. For abstract concepts, maybe that means building a model, writing an explanation, debating it.
Right.
Something active.
Right. Really wrestling with the material.
Exactly.
Okay, so active engagement is key. Then the guide shifts focus a bit to your actual, learning space and how you take information in.
The environment.
It talks about eliminating distractions. Using Pomodoro, those short focus bursts.
Yeah, 25 minutes on, 5 off, something like that.
Or maybe longer, deep work blocks. And then it brings up multisensory input. What's the thinking there?
It's about optimizing your brain, really. Cutting out distractions lets you get into that focused state where learning is just way more effective than trying to multitask.
Which we all know doesn't really work.
Right. And multisensory input using different senses, reading, writing, listening, speaking, watching, doing it literally builds more connections in your brain to the same piece of information.
So like sketching a concept while listening to a lecture about it.
Perfect example. Or talking it through out loud. Each sense adds another hook, making it stick better and easier to recall later. It speeds things up.
So, wrapping this all up for you listening, what does this deep dive into rapid learning, a master's guide, really tell us? It seems to boil down to maybe 3 core things for learning fast, no BS.
Yeah, I think so.
First, start smart, clear goals, and be ruthless with that 80-20 rule. Focus on what matters most. Second, get active. Don't just consume to do things. Teach it. Test yourself constantly. Engage with it. And third, optimize your space and your senses. Cut the distractions and bring in multiple ways of experiencing the information.
That really covers the core principles, doesn't it? Intentionality, active engagement, smart setup.
Yeah.
Which really leads to a final thought, maybe a question for you. Thinking about these principles, what's one small, actionable step you could take today to apply one of them to something new you want to learn?